Hello, welcome to all my dear students. Myself Dr. J.K. Sali. Today we are going to learn Chapter 3 Data Collection, Measurement and Scaling Process of Data. In the topic Data Collection, Designing of Questionnaire, Forms of Questionnaire and Essential of a Good Questionnaire. So let's start with the new topic Designing of Questionnaire. Next is Designing of Questionnaire. The questionnaire, which requires much more than 10 to 25 minutes to complete, will be filled and written rarely. Its use will be restricted to rather narrow areas of data. Keep up language to the level of respondent, and they avoid long questions and establish the frame of reference and you have in mind. The designing of a questionnaire, the various types of questions. The first point is open-end questions. In this question, the respondent are given freedom to express their views. So, there is a wide range of choice. Next point is closed questions. These types of questions do not allow the respondent to give the answer and freely. Thereafter, next point is pictorial questions. In these types of questions, pictures are drawn and the respondent indicates the answer by selecting the pictures if refers. The next point is multiple choice questions. These questions consist of many questions. The respondent has to select any one of these. Next point is leading questions. In these questions, the reply is suggested in an indirect way. These types of questions, the confusion. Thus, as far as possible, these questions should be avoided. And the last types of questions under the designing of questionnaire is ranking items of questions. Through these questions, our preferences of respondent are obtained. So, these were the various types of questions under the designing of questionnaire. Forms of questionnaire. The first point is structures versus non-structures. The structure contains definite, concrete, direct questions. Non-structures may consist of partly completed the questions or statement. Thereafter, next form of questionnaire is closed form versus open form. The questions that call for short check responses are known as restricted or closed from the type they provide making a yes or no. The short response or the checking list to the given in responses. Thereafter, next point is the mixed questionnaire. This questionnaire consists of both closed and open type of questionnaire. Next point is fact and opinion questionnaires. These questionnaires are classified as the fact, which requires the certain information of facts from the respondent without any references to this opinion. The next is computer questionnaire. In the computer questionnaire, the respondents are asked to answer which was sent by mail. The advantages of the computer include their expensive price, time efficiency, and respondent do not feel the pressured answers and they have time the more accurate answer. The next form of questionnaire is telephone questionnaire. The telephone questionnaire researcher may be choose to call potential respondent, the getting them to answer the questions. The advantages of telephone questionnaire is that it can be completed during the short amount of time. And last forms of questionnaire is mail questionnaire. This method involves the researcher to send the questionnaire, the list to the respondent through the post and attaching the prepared envelope. They have an advantage of providing the more accurate answer because respondents can answer this questionnaire in their spare time. And so, these were the various forms of questionnaire. In this slide, now we will discuss stages in questionnaire designing. The first point is identify the data required for the study. The first step is to decide what type of information needed for the study. They can build on what are things to know from the respondent to meet the objectives of the study. Thereafter, next point is define the target group. The researcher must define population about the wishes to generalize from the sample data to be collected. Thereafter, next point is select the methods of reaching target respondent. The main methods available in survey research are: the first is personal interview, second is telephone interview, and third is group interviews. This method has advantages and disadvantages. General consideration is that the more sensitive the information, more personal form of data collection, and they should be useful. Thereafter, next point is decide on question content. Researcher must always prepare to ask, is this question really needed? They should be include the data. It gives rise directly of use. one or more hypotheses during the research design. The last stages in questionnaire designing is putting questions into proper order and format. The questionnaire researcher should pay particular attention to the presentation and layout of the interview form. They should be clearly worded and response option clearly identified. So, these were the various stages in questionnaire designing. In this slide, now we will discuss essential of a good questionnaire. Following are the essentials of good questionnaire. The first point is simplicity. The language of the questions should be simple and easily understandable. It clear and it should not convey to meaning the care to be taken wording of the questions. Next point is logically arrange. There should be a proper sequence of the questions. This question should be arranged logically. Thereafter next point is limited number of questions. The number of questions should be limited. Generally 15 to 20 questions are sufficient enough for making the required inquiry. Next point is related to the points. All questions should be related to the point and they should not be irrelevant. Next point is analytical form. The question should be analytical form. Complete the question should be broken into filter questions. And the last essential of good questionnaire is specific period of time. This questionnaire should be constructed for specific period of time. And these questions should be moving around the investigation. So, these were the various essential of a good questionnaire. Thank you.